Stars look different from the lunar surface. At least that's what Dr. Eleanor Quinn always thought during her night shifts at the Lunar Communications Array. The Earth glowed blue and green in the black sky as she adjusted the huge radio antennas. It was a quiet night, like most nights in the last 5 years she'd worked here. Eleanor sipped her coffee and watched the data streams flowing across the screens. The array was designed to listen for signals from deep space, although most scientists believed it would take decades or even centuries before they detected anything significant. Humanity had sent countless messages, but the vast void of space had yet to respond. Until tonight, the first anomaly appeared as a small spike in the data. Eleanor almost didn't notice. She was about to mark it as typical cosmic background radiation when it happened again. And again, the pattern changed. "This isn't random," she whispered to herself. Eleanor's fingers flew across the keyboard, adjusting the set to focus on the source of the signal. His heart raced as the patterns became clearer. This was unnatural. This was not done on Earth. This was a message. The control room door opened. Lieutenant Jack Harrison of the United Earth Defense Force entered carrying 2 cups of fresh coffee. "I thought maybe you needed another dose," he said, but he stopped when he saw Eleanor's face. "What's wrong? I need you to take a look at this," Eleanor said, without taking her eyes off the screen. "Tell me I'm not crazy." Jack put down his coffee and leaned over her shoulder. The signal was now forming a clear pattern, mathematical sequences repeating themselves with precision. "And that, is this it?" Jack couldn't finish his sentence. "It's a message," Eleanor confirmed. "And it's not from Earth or any of our colonies." "It could be a joke," Jack suggested, but his military training was already beginning. "Some hacker messing with the array." Eleanor shook her head. No one could fake this complexity. She pointed to a new stream of data that appeared on her screen. And no one on Earth could send these star maps. The main screen changed from data to images. Strange symbols at first. So, star systems that Eleanor had never seen. And finally, beings. Creatures with tentacles. Others with multiple eyes. Some looking almost like living crystal. The images showed dozens of different species. Everything is clearly not human. All clearly intelligent. "My God," Jack whispered. The images continued for several minutes. Then a final message appeared. The symbols were unlike any human language, but beneath them, in perfect English, were the words, "Present yourself for evaluation or face the consequences." The coordinates follow. "How do they know English?" Jack asked. "They must have been monitoring our transmissions," Eleanor said. "For years, maybe decades. I need to contact Admiral Whitfield immediately," Jack said, reaching the secure comm line. Eleanor nodded, still transfixed by the message. "Tell him that the Fermi paradox has been solved. We are not alone, and they know exactly where we are." Within hours, the lunar base became a flurry of activity. Military personnel, scientists, and government officials arrived in emergency buses. Admiral Peter Whitfield, a tall man with graying hair and stern eyes, reviewed the broadcast in the main conference room. "And are you sure this is not of terrestrial origin?" he asked Eleanor. "Completely right, sir," she replied. "The signal came from approximately 40 light-years away. The technology required to send such a clear transmission over such a distance is beyond our capabilities." Admiral Whitfield nodded grimly. "So it seems that humanity has an appointment with this. Cons Galactic Elho." "Sir," Jack interrupted. "The message mentioned consequences. That sounds like a threat. It could be a standard diplomatic phrase for them," Eleanor suggested, although she didn't seem convinced. Admiral Whitfield straightened up. "Threat or not, humanity will face this moment with dignity. Dr. Quinn, Lieutenant Harrison, you also discovered this message. You will join the delegation." Eleanor and Jack exchanged nervous glances. They both dreamed of finding evidence of alien life, but neither expected it to seem so ominous. "Prepare the FTL experimental ship," Whitfield ordered his staff. "We have a first contact situation, and it seems that the other party is not in a patient mood." As the room erupted into urgent activity, Eleanor looked again at the final frame of the broadcast, a map of the stars with Earth clearly marked. Not just marked, but highlighted. Earth was noticed by the galaxy, and the galaxy was coming. The UES Discovery hummed with nervous energy as it approached the coordinates sent by the Galactic Council. Ambassador Olivia Martinez stood on the bridge, watching the stars pass by. The faster-than-similar experimental unit performed better than expected. A trip that should have taken decades took just a few days. 2 minutes until arrival, announced the ship's pilot. Ambassador Martinez has changed her formal uniform. As Earth's best diplomat, she negotiated peace during resource wars and unified fragmented nations. But nothing prepared her to represent all of humanity in the face of alien life. Remember, she told the delegation, we are guests. We observe and learn first. No sudden moves or guesswork. Captain Daniel Moore, head of security, checked his gun one last time before holstering it. His orders were clear. Guns were only for absolute emergencies. The first contact was too important to risk a misunderstanding. Abandonment of FTL in 3, 2, 1. The pilot's voice was steady despite the tension. The star field reappeared, and collective gases filled the bridge. Before them floated a massive structure that surpassed anything humans had ever built. It resembled a Ferris wheel with spokes extending from a central hub, illuminated by lights of colors humans had never seen before. My God, Dr. Eleanor Quinn whispered, studying the structure through the screen. It must be at least 100 kilometers in diameter. Lieutenant Jack Harrison's military training could not hide his admiration. Look at the ships. Hundreds of vessels of different designs moved around the station like fish on a reef. A voice crackled over the communications system. Speaking perfect English. Discovery of human vessel. Proceed to docking bay 12. Follow the guidance beam. They're not even surprised to see us, Daniel muttered. Ambassador Martinez squared her shoulders. We won't keep them waiting. The anchoring process was continuous, guided by invisible forces that gently pulled the Discovery into a huge bay. As the chamber closed, sensors confirmed that the atmosphere was breathable. Remember, Martinez said one last time. We represent all humanity today. The delegation of 12 humans passed through the decompression chamber into a vast chamber. And there they were. Aliens of a dozen different species, some tall and slender with blue skin, others short with multiple limbs, one that appeared to float above the ground, and several that appeared almost mechanical. Among them appeared a being that looked like a tall humanoid with silver skin and no visible mouth. I'm Sarlacc, advisor to the Council. Welcome to Central Station, humans. Ambassador Martinez stepped forward. On behalf of Earth and all humanity, we are honored to join the galactic community. Sarlacc gestured, which could have been dismissive. You haven't joined yet. All new species must be evaluated for their compatibility and threat potential. Daniel noticed how some of the other aliens watched from a distance, whispering among themselves. None approached humans directly. Of course, Martinez recovered without any problems. We are ready for your evaluation. You will be escorted to your quarters. The assessment begins tomorrow, Sarlacc said. The board reviewed his broadcasts and history. There are concerns. Another alien stepped forward. This one looked like an insect with compound eyes. These humans advanced from primitive flight to space travel in less than a century. Its pace of technological development is unusual and problematic. Added another alien with tentacles instead of arms. Its history is dominated by conflicts. Eleanor felt a chill despite the comfortable temperature. These beings have studied Earth for who knows how long, but humans have known about their existence for less than a week. The delegation was led to a series of rooms that seemed designed to accommodate human needs, although the proportions seemed a little off. The doors closed behind them with a soft hiss. Did anyone else notice how they looked at us? Jack asked when they were alone, as if we were something dangerous. We noticed, confirmed Daniel. He passed a small device along the walls, checking for surveillance. He honked softly. And they are listening to everything we say. Ambassador Martinez sighed. So let them hear it. We came in peace and with an open mind. Eleanor studied the informational tablet they received. The evaluation process takes a week, according to this. They will examine our biology, psychology, technology, and social structures. Daniel looked grim. Then they decide if it's worth keeping us around. Outside their quarters, ships continued to dock at and depart from the massive station. Tara was just a newcomer to an old meeting, and given the cold reception, perhaps she was not welcome. The assessment had begun, and the future of humanity was at stake. 7 days of questions, tests, and exams left the human delegation exhausted. They sat in their quarters on the last night, awaiting the council's decision. They asked a lot about our wars, said Ambassador Martinez calmly. Every conflict, every weapon we have ever developed. Eleanor nodded, but hardly anything about our art, our music, our efforts to preserve our planet. They are not interested in that, Daniel said. He became more suspicious with each passing day. They only care if we are a threat. Lieutenant Jack Harrison paced the room. Has anyone else noticed how other species avoid us? That blue one with 4 arms practically ran away when I tried to start a conversation. We are being treated as if we have a disease, Dr. Quinn agreed. The door opened, and a mechanical being entered. The council reached its decision. Your presence is mandatory in the large chamber. The humans exchanged nervous glances before following them. The station corridors seemed longer today, the lights were dimmer. They entered a huge room with growing rows of seats filled with representatives of dozens of species. In the center was a circular platform where Tyrolok waited. The humans will remain on the evaluation platform, he commanded. Ambassador Martinez led her team. The platform lit up below them. The Galactic Council has completed its assessment of the species designation, human from planet Earth, Sarlacc announced. His voice echoed throughout the chamber. This assessment was broadcast to all Council worlds as required by protocol. Eleanor whispered to Jack, transmitted. Nobody mentioned it. Council species have the right to know about potential new members or threats. Tyrolok continued. After careful examination of human history, biology, and patterns of technological development, the Council designated humans as a Class 5 dangerous species. Gasps and murmurs spread throughout the alien audience. Martin took a step forward. We came in peace. We did not show any hostility. Their story speaks for itself, said a prominent member of the Reptilian Council. Your species has developed nuclear weapons and used them on your own species. You have destroyed countless life forms on your own planet. We learned from these mistakes, Martin argued. The rate of human technological advancement is unprecedented. Another board member added. From primitive flight to space travel in a single century, such rapid advancement indicates dangerous instability. Sarlacc extended his hand, asking for silence. The board's decision is final. Earth will be quarantined. Limited technological development will be permitted under supervision. Terra will provide resource taxes to the Council annually. Any violation of these terms will result in corrective action. This is outrageous. Daniel protested. You just can't demonstrate the consequences of noncompliance. Sarlacc interrupted. The board authorized a necessary measure of caution. The camera's main screen activated, showing an image of Mars. The red planet filled the screen. Human colonies visible as small bright spots on the surface. No, Eleanor whispered, understanding in front of the others. The Mars colony represents an unacceptable expansion of human influence. Tarlix stated coldly. Its removal will serve as a reminder of the board's authority. Without warning, beams of light shot from invisible ships toward Mars. The surface erupted in explosions that spread across the entire planet. The colonies, which were home to more than 3 million people, disappeared in moments. Ambassador Martinez shouted. Jack advanced, but was restrained by an invisible force field. Daniel grabbed his gun, but was unable to drive. The decision is made, Tarlix said, as if watching the weather. This transmission was transmitted to Earth as a formal notification. Lieutenant Amy Sutton, the delegation's communications officer, remained silent the entire time. As others watched in horror, his fingers moved discreetly over his communication device. She sent an encrypted message back to Earth. They killed Mars. Prepare. Guards surrounded the human delegation. You will be escorted to containment. Tarlix stated that Earth has 24 hours to recognize the Council's terms. As they were taken away, Eleanor spotted an alien, small and with iridescent skin, watching them with what appeared to be sympathy. Their eyes met briefly before the alien quickly looked away. At that moment, she realized. Not everyone on the Council agreed with this brutality, but that didn't matter now. Mars is gone. 3 million lives were wiped out in seconds, and Earth had just seen it happen. Live. The war had already begun. Chaos erupted across Earth as the Council's broadcast reached every screen on the planet. People watched in horror as Mars, home to 3 million colonists, disappeared in a series of explosions. The families of those on Mars collapsed with grief. Others ran into the streets in panic. Some prepared for what they believed would be the end of the world. In the underground complex beneath Washington, D.C., Admiral Peter Whitfield watched the broadcast for the 5th time. His face showed no emotion, but his knuckles were white as he gripped the edge of the conference table. Play Lieutenant Sutton's message again, he ordered. A technician nodded and tapped a few keys. The short, encrypted message was played. They killed Mars. Prepare our General Sandra Collins, head of Earth's combined military forces, stood up. We need to mobilize everything we have. If these aliens can destroy Mars, they could hit Earth just as easily. With what? Asked a pale-faced politician. You saw their weapons. What can we do against this kind of power? We fight. Admiral Whitfield said simply as he turned to the room full of military commanders and government officials. We have faced extinction before. The difference is that now we know exactly who our enemy is. In another part of the complex, Dr. Nathan Chen studied recordings of the attack on Mars. He played back the footage frame by frame, analyzing the alien weapons. There's something here, he muttered to himself. Their shields changed just before they fired. A change of frequency. His computer suddenly beeped with an incoming message. The sender was not someone he recognized, Steve Rodriguez of the Nevada Engineering Center. Dr. Chun, the message said, I have been studying alien ships. The way they generate energy is similar to that of our fusion engines, but they use a field containment system unlike anything we have developed. What if we could reverse the polarity of our own engines? Turn them into weapons? Chen immediately called Rodriguez. What followed was a quick exchange of ideas between a theoretical physicist and a former car mechanic who redesigned fusion engines for the Mars colony. Two very different minds approaching the same problem from different angles. Meanwhile, President Richard Blackwood was preparing to speak to the planet. The transmission would reach every corner of the Earth. He looked at the speech his advisors had prepared and then set it aside. Instead, he spoke from the heart. Citizens of the Earth, today we witness an act of genocide. 3 million innocent lives on Mars were exterminated without warning or mercy by the Galactic Council. They expect us to bow in fear, to accept their terms of surrender. He paused, his face showing the weight of what had happened. We will not bow to terror. We will not surrender to genocide. And we won't forget Mars. President Blackwood's voice grew stronger. Right now, Earth is at war with the Galactic Council. I authorized all military forces to prepare for defensive and offensive operations. We face an enemy with advanced technology and unknown numbers. But they underestimated humanity's greatest strength, our refusal to submit in the face of tyranny. Across the planet, factories have been converted to produce weapons and ships. Scientists have worked tirelessly to understand alien technology from the brief glimpses they have seen. In his laboratory, Dr. Chun made a discovery. The shields, he told Admiral Whitfield over a secure line. They have a vulnerability during the microsecond they change frequency, if we can time our attacks precisely. At the Nevada facility, Steve Rodriguez has successfully converted a small fusion engine into a devastating weapon by inverting its containment field. The test melted 6 meters of reinforced concrete before they could turn it off. Admiral Whitfield reviewed the reports with grim satisfaction. He pulled out a star map showing the location of the Galactic Council station. How long until we can launch? He asked General Collins. The fleet will be ready in 3 days, she replied. But sir, even with these new weapons, we are still at a disadvantage. This could be a suicide mission. Whitfield nodded. Probably. But the Council needs to learn something important about humans. His eyes hardened. We do not accept intimidators. In orbit above Earth, the remaining ships of humanity's space fleet were being equipped with fusion bombs. Rodriguez's and Chen's shield frequency disruptors. They weren't much compared to the Council's massive ships, but they carried something the aliens hadn't counted on. Earth's fury. The Galactic Council expected surrender. Instead, the Earth was silent for 3 days. There are no responses to the Council's demands. There are no pleas for mercy. Just silence. Admiral Whitfield gathered the captains of Earth's remaining fleet. 57 ships in total. Not so much against the Council's power, but everything they had. This is Operation Eris Vengeance, Whitfield said, naming the mission after the god of war and the red planet they lost. While the Council waits for our surrender, we attack. Captain George Sullivan of the UES Defiance studied the battle plans. Sir, these are suicide runs. Whitfield did not deny it. Many of us will not return. But if we succeed, the Earth will live. Each ship was equipped with modified Rodriguez fusion bombs and Chen shield frequency disruptors. The plan was simple but desperate. The human fleet would jump directly to the Council station, send a small rescue team to the captive land delegation, and then release everything they had on the Council ships. Commander Lisa Ortiz volunteered to lead the rescue team. I trained with Lieutenant Harrison. I know how he thinks. We can find them. The fleet prepared in silence. Many wrote final messages to their families. Others prayed. Everyone understood what was at stake. Admiral Whitfield addressed them one last time. The Galactic Council believes it knows humans. They studied our history, our wars, our mistakes. What they don't understand is our ability to overcome impossible odds. Today, we show them that at exactly 600 Earth hours, the fleet jumped. The experimental FTL drives were stressed by acceleration that exceeded their designed limits. They emerged directly above the Council station. Alarms immediately sounded throughout the alien structure. The Council was taken completely by surprise. They expected terms of surrender, not an attack. All ships begin the Alpha attack pattern. Admiral Whitfield ordered from his flagship. Rescue team, you have your window. Good luck. Commander Ortiz and her small team, including engineering specialist Ryan Foster, launched toward the station in a stealth craft. They memorized what little they knew about the station's layout and moved with purpose, following the tracking signal from the ground delegation's communications devices. Meanwhile, the battle above the station intensified. The Council's defense ships struggled to respond, but were disorganized. The human ships, despite being technologically inferior, fought with desperate coordination. Captain Sullivan's challenge was the first to successfully deploy Chen's shield disruptor against a Council warship, targeting its shield transition. He ordered. His weapons officer timed the shot perfectly. The disruptor struck just as the alien shield changed frequency. The energy blast destroyed the suddenly vulnerable ship. It works. Sullivan fired. He immediately transmitted the time data to all Earth ships. Shoot my mark. 3, 2, 1. Several Council ships were hit simultaneously. The aliens, unaccustomed to facing significant resistance from inferior species, fell into disarray. Upon leaving the station, Commander Ortiz's team found the human delegation in a high-security holding area. Lieutenant Harrison was already working on an escape plan when they arrived. It's about time, he said with a grim smile, that we were about to stage a prison break. As they fled towards the P upon extraction, Ambassador Martinez stopped in front of a computer terminal. We need to download everything we can. Information about the Council, its technologies, its plans. Ryan Foster has connected a device to the alien system. I'm in. Downloading now. The data was transmitted faster than he expected. There is something strange here. Records of other species. Dozens of them. All labeled as neutralized. They've done this before. Eleanor realized with horror. Mars was not the first genocide. Above the station, the battle had changed. Despite initial success, the human fleet was being overwhelmed by the sheer numbers. Ship after ship fell to the Council's arms. Faced with the challenge, Captain Sullivan found his ship surrounded by Council ships. Engineering reported critical damage to all systems. Send everything we have to all Earth ships. Sullivan ordered. Shield frequencies, weapon configurations, everything. As the data was transmitted, Sullivan aimed his damaged ship at the Council's largest ship, the command ship. To Mars, he said calmly as the challenge accelerated to an impressive speed. The explosion was visible from the station's windows as Commander Ortiz's team escaped with the Earth delegation and their stolen data. The Council's command structure has suffered a devastating blow. But the price was high. Of the 57 ships that began Operation Ares Vengeance, only 22 would make the jump back to Earth. The first battle is over. The war was just beginning. News of Earth's attack spread quickly across the galaxy. The Galactic Council has never faced such a challenge from a newly discovered species. Their response was swift and harsh. They declare humanity a threat to galactic peace and have ordered its complete elimination. But something unexpected happened. Earth's resistance has sparked hope among species that have lived under the Council's rule for centuries. The first to get in touch was Ambassador Telerita Kavar. Their small ship approached Earth's defense network with shields down and weapons turned off. I come in peace and solidarity. Kavar's message stated that the Tellarites had suffered under the Council's oppression for 300 years. We saw what they did to Mars. We've seen this before. Admiral Whitfield met with Kavar personally. The alien looked like a tall, thin humanoid with light blue skin and four-fingered hands. His eyes were large and completely black. My people waited for someone to challenge the council. Kavar explained, we have technology we can share. Ways to detect your ships before they arrive. Why help us? General Collins asked suspiciously. You are risking destruction. Kavar turned to the screen showing Earth. Because we remember what it was like to be free. And because you did what no one else dared, you fought back. The Tellarites were not alone. The mechanoid Praxis, a species of sentient machines, contacted Earth next. They offered their advanced manufacturing capabilities. The Council fears species that evolve quickly. Their representative explained, we were once organic beings that merged with technology. They limited our development for millennia. With new allies, Earth began to prepare for the Council's retaliation. Dr. Eleanor Quinn worked with Tellarite linguists to understand the Council's communications protocols. They discovered something crucial. The Council was hiding its true story. They have systematically eliminated promising species. Eleanor explained to Admiral Whitfield as she showed him the data stolen from the Council station. Any civilization that develops too quickly or shows too much potential is classified as dangerous and destroyed. Council members present themselves as protectors of peace. Kavar added, but they are conquerors who eliminate competition. Lieutenant Harrison led a joint Tellarite human strike team to capture a Council communications center located on a small moon at the edge of Earth's solar system. The Council placed him there to monitor Earth before first contact. This gives us access to your entire information network. Harrison reported after the successful mission, we can see their ship's movements, their communications, everything. The stolen hub also provided Earth with advanced technology schematics. Earth's factories, now working alongside practical engineers, began producing ships with shields and weapons far more advanced than anything humans had created before. Dr. Quinn made another critical discovery. Using the Council's own communications system, she prepared a galaxy-wide broadcast. We will show everyone what the Council really is, she told Ambassador Martinez. Not protectors, but genocidal oppressors. The broadcast included evidence of the Council's systematic destruction of promising species over thousands of years. It showed the attack on Mars along with similar attacks on other worlds throughout history. For too long, the Council has governed through fear, Ambassador Martinez said on the broadcast. They demand obedience as they claim to protect the galaxy. But who protects us from them? The broadcast reached thousands of worlds. On many planets, citizens began to question their Council representatives for the first time. They will retaliate with everything they have. Admiral Whitfield warned after the broadcast ended. But now the galaxy knows the truth. As if to confirm his words, long-range sensors detected a massive Council fleet assembled. But the fleet was smaller than expected. Some member species of the Council withdrew their support following the transmission from Earth. The Zorax, the Council's oldest and most powerful species, sent a direct message to Earth. Your challenge ends now. Prepare for extinction. Earth and its new allies have prepared for the coming storm. Humanity lost Mars, but gained something unexpected. Hope for a free galaxy. And that made them more dangerous than the Council could imagine. The Zorax weren't bluffing. Long-range sensors have detected something massive approaching Earth. 3 huge vessels unlike anything seen before. Planet killers, Kiver said, his blue face turning pale. The Zorax have only used them twice in known history. They can destroy a planet beyond the reach of any defense system. Admiral Whitfield called an emergency meeting with Earth's military leaders and their alien allies. The mood was somber as they reviewed the sensor data. These ships harnessed the energy of artificial singularities, explained the Praxis representative, an elegant humanoid machine. They can focus this energy into a beam that breaks the atomic bonds of matter. A single ship could split the Earth in half. As the meeting continued, something unexpected happened. 2 member species of the Council, the Navarans and the Eldorans, sent messages withdrawing their support for the Zorax's actions. Brutality against Earth has gone too far, Navaran's message stated. This is not justice, this is extinction. Ambassador Martinez saw an opportunity. The Council is in fracture. Our transmission worked, but it wasn't enough to stop the planet killers. They would reach Earth in less than 48 hours. Steve Rodriguez and Dr. Chun have been working nonstop since hearing about the new threat. We can't match their firepower, Rodriguez admitted. But what if we don't need it? He showed them designs for a network of gravitational disruptors. This won't destroy the planet killers, but can divert its rays away from Earth. We would need hundreds of satellites in precise positions, Chen said. And we have less than 2 days. Then we better get started, Rodriguez replied. Praxis offered its manufacturing capabilities. Its factories could produce satellites faster than anything on Earth. The Tellarate ships helped position them into orbit. Meanwhile, Commander Ortiz proposed another plan. We need to get into those planet killers. His idea was bold and desperate. Using captured city buses and data from the communications center, a small team would infiltrate the planet killers. We cannot destroy them externally, but perhaps we can destroy them internally. Lieutenant Harrison immediately volunteered. I will go with you. While Earth was preparing its defenses, something strange was happening on the remaining Council worlds. More species openly questioned Zorax's leadership. Images of Mars being destroyed, along with evidence of past genocides, have awakened long-suppressed doubts. The Zorax responded with threats and intimidation. But for the first time in thousands of years, his authority was being challenged. Commander Ortiz's infiltration team was launched 24 hours before the planet killers reached firing range. Their modified municipal buses approached the huge vessels, transmitting stolen Council identification codes. Security codes accepted, Ortiz informed Terra. We are being guided to the arrivals area. The team split into 3 groups, one for each planet killer. Harrison led his team through dark corridors that seemed designed for beings much larger than humans. These ships look ancient, he noted, much older than the rest of the Council's technology. Upon arriving at the central control chamber, Harrison made a shocking discovery. The ship's systems were surprisingly simple to access. It's like they never expected anyone to make it this far. He told Ortiz over the secure channel. What they found in the ship's databases changed everything. The Zorax maintained control through fear, not technological superiority. Many of their most advanced technologies were stolen from species they later eradicated. They are not gods, Harrison realized. They're just the biggest bullies in the galaxy. Back on Earth, Rodriguez's gravitational disruptive network was complete. The satellites formed a protective web around the planet, ready to deflect the deadly rays. Zorax sent me one last message. Your challenge ends now. The planet killers moved into firing position. Earth held its breath as the massive weapons activated. In orbit, Rodriguez saw his gravitational disruptors come into operation. In planet killers, Ortiz and Harrison's teams prepared to sabotage the weapons from the inside. The fate of humanity would be decided in the next few minutes. But for the first time since the destruction of Mars, Earth felt something other than anger and sadness. They felt ready. The planet killers fired their weapons. 3 beams of blinding energy shot towards Earth. On the surface of the planet, millions of people watched the sky light up, fearing that these could be his final moments. But Rodriguez's gravitational disruptors activated perfectly. The beams moved away from their targets, missing Earth by thousands of kilometers. The weapons failed. Within the planet killer leader, Commander Ortiz saw his chance. Now, she ordered her team. They planted the modified fusion bombs at key points in the ship's power core. On the other side of the galaxy, Dr. Quinn transmitted everything. The Zorax's failure to destroy Earth, the infiltration teams inside their most feared weapons, and the truth about how the Zorax stole technology from species they destroyed. They collapsed. Billions watched as the galaxy's oldest tyranny revealed its weakness. Commander Zorax, furious at this failure, ordered the planet killers to fire again. Destroy this world. But within the second planet killer, Lieutenant Harrison made a critical discovery. Segmentation systems are interconnected. He told Ortiz over the secure channel that if we reprogram this one, we can make it fire on the 3rd ship. With the help of Tellarite decryption codes, Harrison's team rewrote the targeting program. When the weapons fired again, the second planet killer's beams hit the 3rd ship. The massive ship exploded in a cascade of explosions. On Earth's defense platforms, Admiral Whitfield washed away with grim satisfaction. Launch all remaining ships, he ordered, targeting the damaged planet killers. The Earth fleet, accompanied by Tellarite and Praxis ships, moved to attack. The ships were still outnumbered, but the planet killers were in disarray. In orbit, Rodriguez noticed something strange happening with his gravity disruptor network. The satellites are connecting, he told Dr. Chen. They are forming a kind of megastructure, explained the Praxis representative, Our artificial intelligence recognized a pattern in its design. It is creating a gravitational lens, powerful enough to directly affect the planet killers. The networked satellites generated a gravitational field that pulled the remaining planet killers toward each other. The huge ships, unable to maneuver quickly, began to collide. Leading the planet killer, Commander Ortiz and her team raced back to their ship. "Detonation in 3 minutes," she reported. "We're getting close." As the team escaped, Admiral Whitfield received an urgent message. A new Zorax fleet has arrived at the edge of the solar system. Seeing no alternative, Whitfield made his decision. He boarded the UES Vengeance, Earth's last remaining heavy cruiser. "I will lead an intercept mission," he told General Collins. "We have to buy more time." Vengeance and a small group of escort ships jumped to meet the new threat. They were completely outnumbered. Whitfield opened a transmission channel that would reach not just Earth, but all worlds watching Quinn's broadcast. "Mars remembers. The Earth resists. Humanity will not go extinct." Vengeance sped straight toward the heart of the Zorax command ship. The collision created an explosion that disrupted the entire enemy formation. At that same moment, Commander Ortiz's bombs detonated inside the first planet killer. The chain reaction spread to the second ship, which was still entangled due to Rodriguez's gravitational lensing. Both enormous vessels exploded in blinding light. The Zorax command structure has collapsed. On the other side of the galaxy, Council member species declared independence. The oldest empire in known space fell in a single day. A year later, Ambassador Martinez occupied a new chamber in a rebuilt municipal station. Representatives of 37 species, including humans, Tellurites, and Praxis, met to sign a new treaty forming the Galactic Alliance. "We established these principles," Martinez read. "No species will dominate another. Knowledge will be shared freely and genocide will never again be used as a political tool." When she signed the treaty, surveillance feeds showed Earth's rebuilt fleet. It was larger and more advanced than any other species had imagined. The ships patrolled not only Earth, but also the orbit of Mars, a constant reminder of what had been lost. The galaxy has learned an important lesson. Earth's fury, once ignited, could topple empires. But it was humanity's capacity for cooperation that would create something better from the ashes. In the darkness of space, where Mars once thrived, a memorial of lights now orbits, 3 million points of light, one for each life lost, a promise never forgotten. Humanity found its place among the stars, not as conquerors, but as liberators.